Hello, my wonderful art students. Today, first grade is going to be drawing a treasure map. Second grade, you're going to be drawing a picture for your teacher, which is your parent right now or your guardian. So you can draw a picture for them. Third grade, it says for you to draw a snowflake, but it is springtime, so you could draw a picture of a flower with a face or a tree with a face. You could kind of change it up to match the season that we're in. And let's see, fourth grade, you're also supposed to do a snowflake and then describe what kind of face that you're drawing to someone else. And so again, you can match the season. It's spring now, so if you want to draw a flower or a tree, a cloud, you can even draw multiples if you want to. And then fifth grade, you're going to be drawing your neighborhood, so where you live. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and write the date at the top. It is 3/31/20. I'll write out what each of you are doing for your different grades today. We're gonna continue to combine the different grade levels during our AMI drawings, just in case you wanna draw something else that a different grade level is doing. It'll keep them all together in one place. As we begin, remember to draw light until it's right, so that way you can erase any mistakes. Our drawing today is going to take place on a treasure map. So we're going to draw our map by starting with a diagonal line. Once you get to the end of the line, it's going to curve back, kind of like a J, but it's going to keep going. You're going to do the same thing at the top. It's going to curve around and then in and stop. You're going to connect the curve at the bottom and the curve at the top. And do the same thing for the very end of your line. And we're going to draw the top and the bottom of our map. These two lines need to be straight and parallel. You're going to connect these two lines with a smile or a curved line. It's a sideways smile. All right, so it says fifth grade for you to draw your neighborhood. And so I'm going to draw what my neighborhood would be like from an aerial view or a bird's eye view. So if you're flying over it, I'm going to start with a creek that kind of runs by our houses. And along the creek, there are trees. So this is aerial view, so they might look a little bit like bushes, but they are trees all along the creek. And trees have a natural or an organic shape. So they're natural, they're not supposed to be perfect. They can be small, they can be big. So however you draw, if you're drawing trees and you're drawing what I'm drawing, then you can do different sizes and different shapes. All right, I'm going to move on from the nature part of our map, and I'm going to go into what the neighborhood is laid out like. So we live in a subdivision, so there's lots of houses close together, and these would probably represent like their yards too, because there's like yards around them. And there's several rows and several different groups. And each lot or each house is represented by a rectangle. A lot is just another word for space that the house sits on. It's like the grassy area and the house, so it's the whole thing, yard included. I'm going to go ahead and draw the roads that go in between this group of houses. There's a big curve that goes through our neighborhood, so I'm going to make sure to include that. And lines for roads are also parallel, which means they run side by side. Just do that to the best of your ability. Behind this back row of houses, there's another row of trees, and then there's a pasture that the trees kind of wrap around. I'm going to continue drawing this road. It comes in front of the houses here. Trying to keep my lines parallel the best I can. And I just remembered there's like a four-way stop here. So that needs to be drawn off my paper. That continues on. I'm going to go ahead and draw in some more lots or yards where the houses sit. And the road will continue in front of these guys and connect to the curve. And if you're unfamiliar, like with what your area looks like around you, if you've never really paid attention to how the houses are laid out or apartments, then you can, make things up to the best of your ability, or kind of peek out your window. We're not supposed to be, out and about much right now, but you can kind of peek out and get an idea of what's around you. Go ahead and finish filling in our trees. We have little areas of woods around where I live. I'm going to go ahead and fill in these last few houses. And finish connecting the road. Okay, now this is supposed to be a treasure map. So I'm gonna go ahead and write where I am, which is my home. And I don't know where my treasure's gonna be, but with a treasure map, you have a path to follow. And you're supposed to use what's drawn to match your surroundings. So I'm going to I'm going to walk down this road, and then we're going to cut through the woods. There's actually a little path that does go through the woods about at that corner too. So we'll cross the creek right there, and then X marks the spot. And X is where your treasure is always located on the map. I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can shade in your map if you want it to pop off your paper a little bit more. You'll start by coloring against the edge dark and then fading it out. Remember that this type of shading takes practice. You have to think about how hard you're pressing your pencil to the paper. So we just created a shadow underneath the part of the paper where it's curved. And then there's a shadow that would be right under where the curl touches the paper. And you basically just copy what you do on the bottom up at the top. So again, you start dark on the edge and fade it out. Start dark on the edge, fade it out, don't press as hard. There's a shadow underneath the curl. So you start dark on the edge and fade it. And you can really get dark up against the edge to make it pop more. And finally,
for our, let's see, face on a seasonal object, 3rd grade. I'm just going to draw some faces on the trees, make it real simple, different emotions. So if you want to look at emojis to get ideas of what faces you can do, that's fine. Remember, originally it said we could do this on snowflakes, and since it's spring now, I told you guys you can kind of move on to flowers, trees, clouds, things like that. All right, guys, I've enjoyed drawing with you today. Remember, if you have crayons, colored pencils, markers at home, please use them to add color. Make sure those skills stay in practice, and I will be back on tomorrow. Bye, guys. I wish you well.